Good morning, students. Today again we are going to start with the chapter Atoms and Molecules, and today's topics are ions and chemical formulae. Now, continuing in the topic molecules of element which we were doing last time. Now, we know that molecules of an element are composed of identical atoms. Like oxygen molecule O2 consists of two atoms. So, its atomicity is 2. It may be 3 in the case of O3 molecule, and it may be 2 in the case of O2 molecule, right? So the number of atoms constituting a molecule is known as its atomicity, right? Now continuing further, the atomicity of some common elements is given below, like helium, neon, argon. They are monoatomic. Oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, fluorine, these are diatomic. Phosphorus is tetraatomic, means it exists as P4. And sulfur, it is polyatomic, it exists as S8. Now, continuing further, molecules of a compound. The molecules of a compound are formed when atoms of different element combine chemically in a definite proportion. For example, the molecules of carbon dioxide, they combine as CO2. And if we talk about in the case of CO2, the ratio of CO2 is 3:8. We know that in the ratio 3:8, if we talk further, then 3:8, we know that carbon has mass number 12 and oxygen has mass number 16. So 12:32, as 12 and oxygen is 2, 16 multiplied by 2, that is 32. So 12:32, so that comes out to be 12 is to 16, 12 is to 32, that is 3:8. Now continuing further, we know that the given table illustrates some example of molecules of compound. Like water, hydrogen and oxygen, they are in ratio 2:1. In the formula H2O. So if the ratio of their mass number we calculate, that is 1:8. I have told you how to calculate the mass ratios. Ammonia formula is NH3. Nitrogen mass is 14 and hydrogen H is 1 and multiplied by 3 is 3. So 14:3 we cannot simplify it, so it is 14:3. Similarly, carbon dioxide, it comes out to be 3:8. Carbon monoxide, CO is the formula, so it comes out to be 3:4. Hydrogen peroxide is formula, it's H2O2. H2O2 को अगर हम सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे 2:2, दैट कम आउट टू बी 1:1. 1:1, हाइड्रोजन का मास 1 and oxygen का मास 16, तो it's 1:16. Going on further, if we talk structure of some molecules, then we can see the few examples. CO2, you can the structure see that carbon is in center and two oxygen are on the side. Similarly, we can see the structure of HCl. So you can see one hydrogen is there and one chlorine is there. Okay, so they have a single covalent bond. Similarly, we can see the structure of N2, two nitrogen atoms, and there is a 3 triple bond between the two atoms of nitrogen. Similarly, we can see ions. Now what are ions? Ion is a charged species in which an atom or group of atoms possess a net electric charge. A net electric charge of ion can be either be positive or negative. So positively charged ions are known as cations. Positively charged ions are known as cations, and if we talk about negatively charged ions, then they are known as anions. Okay, so we will continue further in the next slide. Like I have taken one example of CaCO3. Here Ca plus is a positively charged ion, so it is a cation, and CO3 2 negative ion, this is CO3 2 negative. CO3 2 negative ion, carbonate ion, is having CO3 1 carbon and 3 oxygen atom. So it is having more than one atom, so it is polyatomic ion. So it is polyatomic ion. Why it is polyatomic ion? Because it is having more than one atom. So group of atom carrying a charge are known as polyatomic ion, right? So it is having more than one atom, so it is polyatomic ion. Okay, and as it is having negative charge, so it is known as anion. Similarly, if we take the example of CKCl, in the case of KCl, K is having positive charge and Cl is having negative charge. So K plus is a cation and Cl negative is a anion. Now, talking further, if we name the some common ions with their symbols which are given, aluminium is having Al3 plus, calcium Ca2 plus, cuprous ion Cu plus, cupric ion Cu2 plus, bromide Br negative, chloride Cl negative, fluoride F negative, hydride H negative. Now, ionic compounds. Compound in which molecules are formed by combination of cations and anions are known as ionic compound. For example, if we take NaCl, in NaCl, Na is having positive charge and Cl is having negative charge. So NaCl is formed by the combination of one positive and one negative ion. So it is known as ionic compound. So ionic compound are formed by the combination of positively charged ion and negatively charged ion. Now the table given below illustrates some example of ionic compounds. So if we talk about calcium oxide is having calcium and oxygen. So its formula is calcium oxide की अगर हम बात करेंगे, calcium ratio by mass will be 5:2 and ratio by number of ions CaO formula होता है इसका Ca. So what is the formula of calcium oxide? That is Ca and O. Okay, so 1:1 and ratio by mass will be 5:2. Similarly, magnesium chloride formula will be MgCl2. So Mg is 1 and Cl is 2. So ratio by number of ions will be 1:2 and mass magnesium का होता है 24 और Cl का होता है 35.5 into 2 कितना आ जाएगा 71. So 24:71. तो इस तरह से हमने इनकी रेशियो बाय मास कैलकुलेट किया हुआ है. Okay, now writing the chemical formulae of a compound. So how can we write the chemical formulas of a compound? A chemical formula of a compound is a symbolic representation of its atomic constituent. In other words, a chemical formula represents the composition of a molecule in terms of symbol of elements present in the molecule. To write the chemical formula of compound, one should have prior knowledge of two things. Number 1, the symbol of the constituent element, and number 2, the combining capacity of each atom constituting the compound.